What's going on, everybody? RWT family, SMR podcast listeners. Finally out with my all-out review, or I should say it's finally dropping, coming out, whatever. The fact is, we're doing All Out, or I'm doing AEW's All Out. Normally I go live, like following the pay-per-view. I actually did not watch it live. I heard about a couple of things, and then I went into the show with almost no expectations, and the only spoiler I got was the fact that Matt got hurt. And that was the only one I got. So all of this is strictly my regular notes. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I have 15 pages of notes. I'm probably not going to read it entirely, but I am going to definitely use it as bullet points. There's been a lot of talk on the topic that is AEW's All Out, how it's probably their worst pay-per-view to date. There's a lot of diehard WWE fans that are like, this is why they're going to fail, and to that I say, did you not watch Payback? And again, I make it a running joke now, because the fact of the matter is I didn't, because I was asleep. And the fact is, you know, the only reason most people are watching the WWE Network is they're either getting it for free or the reality is it's $10. Okay. For the $50 I spent to watch this show, I was very much entertained. I did like it. I have some ups and I have some downs, but I will say that I liked it. I enjoyed it. It did drag a little bit, but all in all, I in no way, shape, or form felt it was anyway a waste of money. By no means. So, before I get into the actual review, I do want to go over some bullet points. I do want to go over the good, and I do want to go over a lot of the bad. And then I will go into each and every match, and I will give my whole perspective. You know, my man Harold rated the matches. If I can remember, I will rate them as well. I have not given them a rating, but off the top of my head, I could probably give a rating. So, with that being said, let me get into this whole bit. So, let me start with the good. Okay, the good. No match on this show was bad. Okay? There may have been one that was like, it was fine, you know? But the fact of the matter is again, and I will constantly go back to Payback, or you could even say Raw and or SmackDown, there are constant bad matches. There was no bad match for this show. Point number 2. Feuds ended and new ones started. What do you know? Closure and a new opening. What a concept in professional wrestling. An upside, and I will unfortunately talk about his mistake, but Matt Sydal being a part of AEW. Happy to see it. Glad he's a part of that company. Think he's going to do great, great things. Dustin looked absolutely amazing, like a man that fucking just came out of the goddamn Fountain of Youth. I swear to God, this guy. And his promo was absolutely incredible on his way to the TNT title shot that he gets Wednesday, tomorrow. And then, let's just be honest here. AEW knows how to book battle royals. As crazy of a, out of whack battle royal this was, it was still a very good one. Very entertaining. So, unfortunately, I do have quite a bit of bad. So, I will say the number one thing that I have on the bad list, and I have it in bold lettering, the health and safety of your workers came into question far too much in one show. I'm talking about the Matt spot. I'm talking about the possible Sammy spot. I think he's fine, but looked like he may have hurt his shoulder. I'm talking about the Darby spot. Okay. Too many times. You advertised a cinematic match. It was a glorified BTE Halloween segment with some wrestling. I'll get into it. Personally, the tag titles in my mind should have changed hands sooner, and hence this turn. that happened should have happened sooner. Also, I would have felt like it would have been a little better if just like FTR would have beat a bunch of different other tag teams and then like beat the Best Friends, you know, like a team that you like, oh God, there's no way they're going to win. I know this was meant to be like a great match, but you could have saved a great match for when more people are in the crowd. The point is I felt like this turn should have happened sooner. And thus, they should have lost the belt sooner. I'm hype. I'm more, I guess, just poking the bear at the point I just made beforehand. The opening match was two competitors legitimately trying to kill each other, and one via murder, but they somehow survived. Not necessarily murder, but attempted murder. That's what I wrote, and I should have read that. One thing that was a giant pain in my butt, or giant pain in the ass, or what do I say? It's what I say. I forget what Mike would always have me say. Anyway, grinds my gears, whatever. The set didn't look any different in any way. The show felt like an extra special, extra awesome episode of Dynamite without the commercials. Kind of like Clash of the Champions for WCW. It just happened to be a quote-unquote pay-per-view. So, again, with the medical, if a man is unconscious for longer than 20 seconds, stop the motherfucking match. Lastly, now that you have a crowd, mic them better. They're smaller. They need to have mics like damn near up their ass, okay? There was parts of this fucking shit that you could hear, you could barely hear them, and then the other parts it sounded like it was a goddamn packed house, okay? So, like, just get it to work. Let's make it fucking happen. And I don't know, Bill, or maybe just they were out of it. I'm personally thinking it was just a combination of my last point and the bad miking. My last point, just throwing this out there, try looking for a new venue. So you don't have to wrestle in 90-degree heat with 70% humidity during the goddamn summer. Because, you know, I'm just fucking saying. Because outdoor events never go well, especially when it's goddamn blazing hot out to the point where the fans are sweating through their fucking masks. I'm sure it was uncomfortable as all holy hell for the fans. So imagine how uncomfortable it was for the wrestlers, especially considering the fact that Matt Sydal slipped and fell on his fucking head. You know, which I will get into that. It was rather impressive, truth be told. I mean, the fact that the man knew he was going to crash and burn and still corrected himself in midair was kind of awesome. Again, I'll get into it. So, we got fans in the stands for Daly's Place, and like I pointed out, the set doesn't look much better, and the best part of the commentary group is back being Excalibur. So the opening match is a quote-unquote cinematic match. I already bashed on it, not gonna do that. So, Britt Baker versus Big Swole, and for the millionth time on the record, she is neither big nor swole. With that being said, Big Swole shows up at a quote-unquote dentist office, or what we are to believe is Britt Baker's office. She pops out of a car, and the referee apparently drove, and he's like, hey, so, you sure this is the place? And she replies, damn Skippy. So then Reba's a receptionist, and like the second Swole walks in, she starts pretending she's on the phone and just vigorously typing, and hands her a form and says, I need you to fill this out. And then she's like, well, what's your name? And she's all Swole. Big Swole. Reba screams, she's here! And she gets creamed, and then the beatdown ensues, and they battle down the hallway, and the whole Basura Baker, because I don't know if she's like Dominican or something, just whatever. She keeps using, calling her Trash Baker, just but Spanish. She somehow stumbles into a room where it's like a fucking horror movie, and I'm just thinking maybe that was a root canal gone bad or something. I really don't know, just a giant pile of blood. And Swole walks in and screams, what in the Sam hell? And then proceeds to tell the ref to calm down. And I'm like, did you or did you not just scream, what in the Sam hell? So Britt Baker is like stalking Swole in the shadows. Like, she's like a really bad fucking Jason impersonation. And then she like sneaks up behind her. She grabs this frame and she just lightly taps her. And the glass fucking just goes everywhere. And she tells this ref to ring the bell, And this confused motherfucker was like, okay. So he does the ring the bell symbol, and some fucking crazy a-hole at Daly's place has like crazy great vision, or is watching the monitor at the same time or whatever, and rings the bell. So, like, she tries to pull out her teeth. They fight outside. There was a whole, like, what was it? Oh, that's right. So they get on the golf cart, the Rolls Royce, if you will, and all of a sudden, Reba gets involved. She's, don't touch my doctor, or what she said, don't touch my Dr. Brick Baker. She's just screaming and yelling. She's hilarious, the whole thing. She was all over this fucking thing, which kind of made it a pain in the ass in the end, because it was somewhat of a 2-on-1. Again, they fight on that golf cart. Britt DDTs her on the roof, then throws her in the dumpster, but Swole actually, she tries to throw her in the dumpster. It doesn't work. Swole ends up throwing Reba in the dumpster. She takes this great foot bump into it. And, so I was like, Excalibur all of a sudden brings up the relative safety of the dentist office, and I'm like, well, he must not know the finish. I was like, because I've already seen the finish of this thing, and fucking guy, safety my ass, homeboy. Like, she tries to fucking kill her with a drill. Okay, so she tries to kill her with a drill. She can drill her teeth out with not like a dentist drill, with like a DeWalt drill. You drill fucking, framing a drywall with the goddamn son of a gun. So, but then before that, she got her face smashed into a countertop, and she's like, I just got my nose fixed, and I laughed. They brawl for a little bit more. All of a sudden, there's this fucking needle. Britt pulls out this Novocaine needle, or whatever the hell, my guess is Novocaine, and she attempts to stick Big Swole with it. She is foiled, and Swole actually sticks it into Britt's leg, and then her leg goes numb, and then she tries to keep fighting. All of a sudden, like, she kills Reba with a fucking forearm through a diploma, because why not? And then Swole defeats Britt Baker by using nitrous to make her pass out, as I say, aka attempted murder. So, the long and short is, it was built as a cinematic match. It was shot like BTE. I didn't expect WWE cinematics, but don't call it cinematic. Just say it was fucking pre-taped. The fight was fine. To me, Reba was the star of this whole thing, and that's kind of a problem, considering that this had nothing to do with her. I don't think this feud is going to end, and that kind of makes things a little bit worse. I give this a whopping 1.25 star, or 1.25 star. So, the Young Bucks and Jurassic Express, this was fucking great. Fucking great. Okay? I could go through the entire thing, but I legit have an entire page written of what happened. They're in there just kicking the hell out of each other, beating the shit out of each other. The Young Bucks are like the ultimate heel team, you can tell. Jungle Boy has improved fucking leaps and bounds since the start of this fucking company. Leaps and bounds. He is almost on par, I feel like, at times with Nick Jackson. The way he's able to move, in correlation with it, like the way it works out. It seems to work out. And it's awesome. Luchasaurus is crazy underrated. I wish he would get more time. I feel like he gets really winded, though, really fast. That's just my only gripe. I will point out the awesome spot. They were doing the, not an awesome spot. They messed this up. So Matt's doing the Northern Lights suplexes after Jungle Boy takes out Nick on the stage. So Matt catches him, does a couple of the Northern Lights suplexes. The idea is he's going to suplex him over the rope, and they're going to go crashing. In 1996, everybody and their motherfucking mom does this goddamn spot. I see it on WCW. I see it on WWF. Everybody does this spot in the 90s. They mess it up. My guess is somebody didn't flip, or somebody didn't this, or somebody didn't that. They just fucked it up. They end up going outside, and then Matt, to be a dick, just keeps doing more, Northern Lights suplexes. So a lot of great double teams. Slingshot Destroyer. There was a great tail whip into a flatliner earlier in the match. The Bucks absolutely kill Marco, or Matt kills Marco with a super kick because he was just kind of in the way like a little jerk. They go for the Meltzer driver. Luchasaurus grabs Nick, does this like flip choke slam thing, and I'm like, it's awesome. Jungle Boy, they hit their finish. Nick barely makes the save. Luchasaurus tries to splash Nick in the corner, ends up splashing into. I'm sorry. Nick is in the crowd. He ends up splashing into the plants on the side. All the fucking wrestlers hanging out on the side. Jungle Boy gets super kicked out of midair. I'm legitimately thinking that's probably like the best finish. Bam, he's dead. 1, 2, 3. No, instead, they bring him in, and I think they fucking. Oh, that's right. They picked him up and they hit the BTE trigger. Mainly because he kicked out. I think he shouldn't have kicked out. I think he should have been done right there at that last super kick out of midair. I think they were just the way he crumbled and the way it hit and everything about it was very, very good. I feel like that should have been the ending right then and there. So, awesome match. Like I said, awesome match. Excellent match is what I wrote. I really, really liked it. Jungle Boy looked like a star. Luchasaurus is great. I felt like this. They could have actually got the win, but the heel bucks are just too awesome. This should have been the opener. Good time, great energy, good everything. I give it a 4. 4-star, no problem. No problem. Casino Battle Royale. I will get to my rating after I go through this. So, my guess is it's going to be like the Royal Rumble. They're going to constantly tell us the rules of every Battle Royal or Casino Battle Royal ladder match or whatever the fuck. So it's 4 groups of 5 dudes in a wild card spot. Okay, 3-minute intervals. Dudes come in, they do their stuff. You get eliminated by going over the top rope. Got it? Got it. So first group: Trent, Christopher Daniels, Jake Hager, The Blade, Rey Fenix. I think Rey Fenix has a new mask. I don't know. They don't really do nothing, at least not nothing important. Then the next group of guys come out. You got Kaz, a.k.a. Frankie Kazarian, or you can call him Kaz. Big Will Haas, which is a name that my man Vincent Verheit, or Vinny V, for those who listen to the Brian Vinny Show, have renamed him, and quite honestly, it fits him perfectly because he is a big giant Haas, but it is Will Hobbs making his pay-per-view debut. Chuck Taylor, excuse me, and then both Santana and Ortiz, they actually jump Chucky with the baton right as they come out. Trent makes the save by diving out through the middle rope. They fucking battle outside. Hobbs is in there just like looking like a hoss. He's beating up Phoenix, and he was getting double teamed, and then all of a sudden he ducks a kick, and Blade gets his face kicked off by Phoenix. Pretty awesome. Hager eliminates Christopher Daniels, then starts beating on Kazarian. The next group comes out. Billy of the Gun Club. Pentagon L0. Now, I don't mean to be this guy. Let me go through the rest of them. Brian Cage, Ricky Starks, Darby Allin. Pentagon, every time I fucking turn around, we have to call him something different. He's Pentagon Dark. He's Pentagon L0M. He's Pentagon L0005, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I love the man. I do. He's great. All about him is great. Maybe he's gone dark. I don't fucking. Anyway. Starks and Cage come out together. And Billy goes right after Cage with a famouser. It's a bad idea. He gets pressed over the rope, throws to the ground. He wasn't even in there a couple minutes. Starks then eliminates... I'm sorry, that's right. So Darby comes out with the skateboard. He starts beating up Cage and Starks, and then Darby eliminates Phoenix. We got the whole best friend shot. Then we got the next group. Oh, that's right. Ortiz eliminates Chucky. Next group was Sean Spears, Eddie Kingston, Andy Williams, aka The Butcher, Sonny Kiss, and Lance Archer. So Spear goes to the commentary booth, which is full of legends. And he says, "Oh, this place is full of legends." And then there's Excalibur. And I'm like, "Oh, you're a dick." So Kingston and Andy Williams come out together, and I was like, that was kind of fucking weird. Taz points out that Sean Spears is kind of just biding his time, waiting for his chance. Guys are getting eliminated. Hager takes a cheap shot on Sonny Kiss as, he's leaving after he got eliminated. Or because he eliminated Hager, And then Cage tosses Sunny Kiss right after that. Trent low bridges Santana, then Archer just throws Santana over Ortiz, who's on the apron and, onto the floor. Ortiz ducks, thinking he outsmarted the monster. Not true. He then gets eliminated as well. The wild card for this one was Matt Sydal, the former Evan Bourne, for those who can remember those days in WWE. Now, with that being said, he comes out, he knee spears right in the face, and then he slips by doing a shooting star press, which is hard as fuck to do as it is. And then, I'm more than sure, there was all kinds of fucking sweat and schmutz and bullshit all over these fucking ropes. These guys are out here sweating all over the joint. You got Big Will Haas out there just sweating all over the joint. It's a sweaty environment. But he goes up, he realizes, I ain't gonna make it. So he decides, tuck and roll, baby. And he just comes crashing down on his shoulders, which doesn't suck. Bet that ass. But I would have rather him did that than attempt to do this thing and land right on his fucking neck. I'll get into people landing on their somethings in a minute. So, and I'm just saying shit happens, okay? Stop giving the guy crap for having a bad fucking debut, okay? You try doing a goddamn shooting star press. Period. Not even in a fucking ring. Just do one, period. It's hard as shit, I've tried. Anyway, so Jake is ringside and he's got the snake. And Shivani's like, oh, there's two snakes ringside. And I'm totally guessing he means the shirt. Let's see here. There's a bunch of stuff going down. Sydal double foot stomp, spears on the apron to eliminate him. Han spine busters the life out of... Oh, okay, hold on. Wait a minute. Stop. I have to stop myself because I tried to jump ahead to save some time. The fact of the matter is, I can't do that. So, Andy Williams throws Kazarian over the turnbuckle to eliminate him. They also showed a kick where he didn't touch the dude, not one lick a bit. Cage destroys a bunch of guys, including Archer. Then his own partner, Starks, hits Darby with the stunner, and then eliminates Stark. And then Starks ends up being eliminated. Cage murders Darby for that. Stark drags him outside, throws him into the post, and then pulls out a fucking body bag. Cage finds a goddamn bag of thumbtacks in the fucking bag, pours it in there, zips Darby up in there, and I already have this weird, terrible gut feeling, and it's trumped by the fear, as I see fucking Cage just full-blown huck poor fucking Darby Allin out of the ring, onto the ramp. I fucking screamed in fear as Stark's attacking him like this dude ain't fucking moving, and he's legit not fucking moving, and I'm legit scared. I'm literally scared at this point. And yet somehow the fucking match goes on. I talked about how Spears got eliminated, and then Archer eliminates Hobbs. Or no, I'm sorry, he pounces Hobbs, and then Cage and him slug it out. So Cage ends up going for the 619. Hobbs grabs him. They fight. Archer bounces them both off the apron. Last four, Andy Williams, Matt Sydal, Eddie Kingston, Lance Archer. Just going to say I would have loved to see Eddie Kingston against John Moxley. They could have had a killer, crazy hardcore match. Killer, crazy hardcore. Beat the shit out and kill each other kind of match. It would have been nuts. Not fucking nuts. So, Sydal eliminates fucking Williams, and then Archer throws Sydal off of him. And as he does that, he DDTs Kingston. That was a great spot. Archer kills Sydal with a blackout, and Kingston is on the apron, pounces him off. Archer climbs off. They start brawling on the apron. Kingston and Archer are the last two dudes. Blade and Andy Williams get involved. Kingston bites Archer, but ends up using the claw and helps Kingston Sphere, and with the help of Kingston's Sphere of Snakes, throw him off the turnbuckle and win in the Battle Royal. I said, I actually like this. I said, one botched spot and one absolutely sickening spot, but still a very good Battle Royal. Just stop fucking doing crazy shit. Speaking of crazy shit, this is the least I've wrote about every and any other match so far in this goddamn show. But has been not like released. I think it's been like screenshotted and put on her Twitter or something. Reba Harvey, was it Reba, whatever her name is, his fucking wife, Matt Hardy's wife, actually posted up the text conversation that they had. He was like, "Love you," whatever. She says, "Be safe." The first fucking spot she sees is they're on a goddamn scissor lift, and she writes in horror a bunch of different stuff and goes on record that what happened is, just as much Matt's fault as anybody else's. So, but let's get into that, and I will absolutely give you my thoughts as we go along. So, Matt is actually in the stadium part of the arena thing, and Sammy comes out with the golf cart. I kind of actually laughed at it. Hardy dodges, relatively easy. Sammy takes a DDT right on his head on a fucking park table. Somebody who works at a school, I know how hard those things are. And then when I saw him land right on top of his head, I screamed, "Fuck," really loud, to the point where my 3-year-old mimicked me. They're fighting on a goddamn scissor lift with a very, very crappy merch table below. Sammy fights off a side effect, and then he spears Matt to the ground. They overshoot the table. And even if they would have hit it, what the fuck difference would it have made? Then you can actually see Matt's head bounce off the concrete floor, and this man does not move for a good 40 seconds. I don't know if he was out the whole time or not. I said, but this was way worse than the body bag spot. Somehow this match is still going on. Matt is getting up. Sammy is trying to help him up because, Matt's a fucking long-time wrestler. So he knows, I got hurt. I have to snap back into worker mode. So he goes back into worker mode, and poor Sammy is trying to help the fucking guy, and he can't even help the guy. You know what I mean? It's just... It gets to the point where, every time he tries to walk, he can't walk. And so he hits the ground. All of a sudden, Aubrey, realizes this fucking guy can't compete. And this is, into her count. She started counting to, 6. And she's like, oh, fuck. She throws up the X. The fucking doctor walks over. And thank God almighty, they threw the match out. But no. Sammy then gets pulled away, and somehow Matt starts walking again. Again, he goes into, I'm a worker mode. I can still do stuff. Look at me do stuff. And he's in the broken Matt Hardy thing. All of a sudden, out of fucking nowhere, the goddamn match gets started because they have to do the finish. We have to do the finish. Matt starts attacking Sammy, and I'm like, this isn't all right. Matt hits a DDT on Sammy, and his head kind of bounces off more concrete because he kind of has to take a bump to hit this DDT. And I'm like, what in the fuck? The Dodgers are following Matt everywhere rather than stopping the fucking match. They fight on the goddamn scaffold. Sammy climbs the scaffold. Matt follows. One punch sends Sammy crashing to the fucking thing that he landed on, and I'm just thinking, I think his shoulder's fucked up. But I said, and I wrote just like this, why in the fuck did you let this match go on? There was zero reason to keep this match going. The doc said it was okay for him to keep going, and I'm like, after being out cold for 30 seconds? No, absolutely not. Not smart. There needs to be some sort of fucking protocol in AEW starting effective immediately, where if they feel you can't go, you should be able to override a doctor. And in that situation, somebody should have overrid the doctor. Let's turn it back onto a happy note, though. AEW's Women's World Championship match. I was fucking sneak it in there. Thunder Rosa, NWA Women's World Champion, and Hikaru Shida. This match was really good. I really like this match. So Thunder Rosa is, again, like I mentioned, the NWA Women's World Champion. They have a slap fest to start it out, and then Excalibur actually tells us that Rosa is training with fucking American Top Team. That's big time MMA, baby. That's big time MMA. She's a jiu-jitsu practitioner. Good for her. I love it. So, Rosa was one of these thorn in the side kind of wrestlers where no matter what it is you do, she comes back with a flurry. And she somehow always gets her advantage right back. There's, she's using her kicks, her jiu-jitsu background. There was this Oklahoma Stampede into a shoulder breaker. Sheeta gets a rear naked choke with a body lock, but because Rosa studies jiu-jitsu, she's able to counter it and get her into the pendulum and just kind of starts bashing her head into the bottom turnbuckle, shades of Super Dragon. There's a double leg drop by Rosa, then Sheeta tries to go for the stretch muffler, but it's avoided. Sheeta came right back with a jumping knee strike and then a suplex for a near fall. Rosa hit a double knee strike in the corner, then drop kicks Sheeta on the stage. They fight. There's a Rosa escapes and hits a DVD on the apron. Double knees from Sheeta onto the stage. Legitimately centimeters away from hitting the fucking steps, and I'm just like, oh my god, that could have fucked her knees for life. They brawl like crazy, and no one stays down. Then Sheeta hits a Falcon Arrow. Rosa kicks out at 1. Sheeta tried it again, gets turned into a roll-up. She applies the stretch muffler. Rosa is able to get to the ropes. Then she pops up, hits a backstabber. They battle for a few more knee falls, and then Sheeta hits the V-trigger or the running knee, whatever you want to call it, for the win. I wrote, great match. Thunder Rosa is legit. I've seen bits and pieces of her before, and it did not look this good. She showed out in her debut, taking Sheeta to a limit nobody else in this division has before. With that one, I'll give that... Let's see. What can I give... Oh, yeah, by the way, I did not give a rating for Matt Hardy, Sammy Guevara, because, dud. I should, -5 for the fucking medical. So, Dark Order, it was like the fucking A-team of Dark Order, which is the thing that made me, like, weirded out, because fucking Natural Nightmares every time I turn around are on Dark. So, it's the A-team, it's Stu Grayson, Evil Uno, Brody Lee, and Colt Cabana. Against the Natural Nightmares, QT Marshall, Dustin Rhodes, Scorpio Sky, and fucking Matt Cardona, the most oddball goddamn team I've ever fucking seen in my life. This was very much a television match. This was very much a glorified TV match. It should have been on Dynamite. Brody Lee's in there, and every time he's in there, he looks like a monster. Nobody can deal with the monster. He's just beating everybody, and it's fine. And Cardona just is in there doing some shit. Grayson looks like an absolute fucking stud. But Cardona did reverse a suplex into a net breaker. Dustin gets the hot tag. This is where the fucking whole match turns around. He beats on Grayson. He beats Grayson silly, power slams everybody in sight. Cole dodges the power slam, but he gets killed with a destroyer. Brody kicks Dustin so hard he falls into the corner and tags in Scorpio Sky. Anna Jay, number 99, climbs in the ring, tries to attack Sky, but Brandy comes in to lay her out. Cardona comes in, hits radio silence, but Uno and Grayson come in. QT gets a blind tag. Cardona tries to hit it on Brody Lee, but he gets killed with a powerbomb. QT comes in. Colt misses the flying apple, and he spills out onto the floor. QT hits a tope, then calls for the diamond cutter. That's when he gets hit with a powerbomb. Sidewalk slam and splash from Colt. Then QT still kicks out. Brody Lee demands to be tagged in, so he does so. Colt, he gets thrown in the corner, tags in Dustin. They go at it for a bit, Brody Lee and Dustin do. Brody hits a giant lariat. Colt comes in for the moonsault. He misses, and Dustin gets a goddamn cradle victory because fucking Colt Cabana can't keep it under control. He can't just finish the job. He has to go through some fancy shit. And he actually gets his ass chewed out, and I'll get into that. This was fine. It built up Dustin versus Brody, which I think a lot of people actually want. Colt dropped the ball, and Grayson and Uno are furious, and so is the rest of the Dark Order. They give him shit for it. Felt like a very good TV match, especially for that finish. Brody is furious as hell and tells them to leave him behind. And then he's screaming that I set you up. And like I said, they take off. Evil Uno decides, hey, I'll be the good cop. Well, he's not looking. Why don't you come on with us now? Now it's time to go home, Daddy-O. I don't know about the Daddy-O part, but. So this is where everything kind of gets even a little more awesome. Tony Schiavone's in the back with Dustin, and he says he's so excited and pumped. He's worked 5 decades, and he left the Dark Order in the dust for Cody, for his brother. And he knows that he'll come back and take what's rightfully his. So Schiavone tells him that because of his efforts tonight, that Tony Khan has, granted him a TNT title shot on Wednesday. And Dustin's like, wow. He's always been a long time since I had a chance to compete for gold. He thanks Tony Khan and says that his train is just catching steam and you better get on or get left in the dust. Dustin says, Brody, I'm not coming for your title, coming for blood, and I'm bringing hell with me. I fucking love Dustin Rhodes. 5 decades, this guy. 5 decades. He's been around forever. The 80s, the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020. AEW Tag Team Championship match. FTR and Hangman Page. FTR versus Hangman Page and Kenny Omega. So Hangman actually wants to start this match because, he's like, I'm a good fucking team player. I want to do this. So he comes in and he starts it out. And FTR is the absolute ultimate heel team because, that's how they do it. I did notice Hangman rocking some tights rather than some normal trunks. Kind of getting into the Kenny vibe, I guess. There's a lot of awesome shit in this match. I wish I could say so much, but I have so much written, and I do not want to drag it on. Oh my god, that was even longer than I thought. I will pull out a couple of things. Kenny was going on a spree. He looked like a fucking god, because they need to build him back up. It felt like Hangman was just a little behind every step of the way that Kenny would have needed help in any instance. And for that, it kind of bit him in the ass. There was, let's get into a little bit of it here. I have some of it. Okay, so Hangman actually gets the hot tag. He knocks Dax off the apron, catches Catch in midair, hits a fall-away slam into the plancha, follows up with a tope. Very similar. Rather than his moonsault, he hits a tope very similar to Omega's. There's a double diving headbutt from Dax and Cash, but Omega makes the save. Gets thrown into the apron. He and Dax fight it out. They battle for a suplex, but Cash jumps over, hits a bulldog out of an electric chair onto the floor. They hit the same move on Hangman Page for a near fall. Hangman hits a moonsault power slam, or at least that's what I fucking thought it was. It looked awesome. I don't give a shit what it was. Omega and Hangman are calling for the last call. Both Cash and Hangman duck. Cash ducks. Omega kills Hangman with a V-trigger. Then FTR hits the stuffed pile driver not once, but twice. And that leads to the end. FTR is your new AEW Tag Team Champions. And they celebrate with a beer. And they even crack one for Hangman. I wrote awesome match. You could feel the tension from Hangman and Omega. FTR is an amazing team and took the champs beyond their limits. I give this guy a 3 3/4 stars. Very, very good, though. After the match, you could see Omega absolutely frustrated. He's got this ringside table in his hand. He's furious. He wants to bash in Hangman's page. He wants to. Hangman stumbles and falls right in front of him, and he just kind of tosses him aside. He's like, whatever, I'm fucking out of here. He's pissed off, walking down the hallway, telling the Young Bucks he's done. It's on, he's done. The Bucks walk with him all the way to the parking lot. He's like, I'm out of here. So you guys coming with me or you're not? And he's like, whatever, we'll talk later. Nobody went with him. So it looks like a very clean breakup. I said, the rise of the cleaner is one to tell the children. He tells the Bucks, now there's no turning back. Mimosa Mayhem match. So I had mentioned on Max Wrestling that the Mimosa Mayhem match, to me, is rather interesting, considering the fact that fucking Chris Jericho got popular by just saying a little bit of the bubbly. And it's gotten to the point where now he has his own goddamn match because of it. So there's 2 vats of this quote-unquote mimosa, or maybe it's fucking Tang, I don't know. Look like Tang for those old folks. Oh, what the fuck are you young cats? What the fuck is Tang? Don't worry about it. I'm not talking about the Poontang. I'm talking about Tang, the drink. Anyway, what's the astronaut's drink? It's fine. Like, this was a good match. They didn't do anything special. They did a whole hell of a lot of teasing of who's going to go into the pool, or one of the pools. You had an instance where, like, Cassidy completely missed it when he got attempted to be thrown in, and so he has to, like, kind of tap his toe in just to make the fucking water move, and I'm like, okay, whatever. And so they battle it out, but Jericho does try to go for the kill right off the bat. Codebreaker tries to throw him into the batch, doesn't work. They fight for a while. You know, Jericho's got the walls of Jericho in. Cassidy goes and crawls for the rope. Aubrey has to tell him, there's no rope break. So he grabs his, like, big-ass glass and fills it up with the mimosa, throws it right into Jericho's face. It leads to a near fall. Then he hits a Superman punch, throws him into the ropes. Jericho almost falls into the vat. Cassidy almost got thrown in as well, but he avoided it. They fight on the turnbuckle some more. So Jericho hits the Judas effect, and surprisingly, dude kicked out. He's yelling at Aubrey, it was 3, it was 3, it was 3. Jericho tries to lawn dart Cassidy into the pool, but they fight on the turnbuckle again. And Jericho wants to hit like a razor's edge. Cassidy slips out, hits 2 Superman punches, and knocks Jericho off right into the vat. I said, this was pretty alright match. It was really well worked. Jericho did do the job without doing the job, a very WCW kind of thing. I really do hope this feud ends. It's been fun, but I'm very, very much ready to move on. So Full Gear is announced without a date. They plugged some matches for Dynamite, one of them being the TNT title match. And Sabian is going to name his best man because they're going to get married, and weddings on wrestling television has been historically great. But we'll see. So, AEW World Championship match, MJF versus Jon Moxley. This match was also very good. Had a hype video brought up. A fan legit tries to grab Mox as he's coming to the ring. They had to fucking call security. So, Mox is just beating the shit out of fucking MJF. Like, again, I have a lot written down, and if I went through the whole thing, maybe you guys would just, like, revision it in your head, but I'm going to try to make it short and sweet and simplify. So, he's beating the shit out of him. He's throwing him around outside, crunches him on the guardrail. He and, Mox and Wardlow have a fucking stare down. There was... MJF was there was this whole transition, what was it? MJF is working for like an actual armbar. He has it. And then, of course, Mox, being some sort of MMA practitioner, knew how to transition out, started smashing MJ's head in with fucking ground and pound forearms. MJF, smashes another forearm to his face right off the apron, jumps Wardlow as he tosses him back. All of a sudden, we see them outside. MJF starts talking shit. He said, "I thought you were hardcore, dipshit." So Mox catapults MJF into the post. Because it's a fucking square post, he gets busted open pretty bad. AKA, yes, he did gig. He's bleeding all over the place. Mox just all fucking match long is dying. He's dying to use the paradigm shift, but remembers he can't. He hits a reverse German suplex. He tries to go for the God's pile driver once, but he can't do it because he's too heavy. He eventually gets it a second time. But I will say that, okay, so we had that. Mox goes for, like I said, the pile driver. He can't do it. There's a sidewalk slam. Mox does hit the pile driver. MJF kicks out. All of a sudden, Mox decides, I'm going to bite the open fucking wound of MJF, and I'm just screaming out loud, goddamn COVID, and I'm kind of gagging a little bit because it's pretty fucking gnarly. Guy's bleeding all over the place, and you're willing to put your fucking mouth on his head where blood's all over at. Whatever. Your cup of tea, not mine. So, all of a sudden, MJF bites fucking Mox's hand out of desperation, and I'm just like, okay, back in the fucking old days. Everybody's biting everybody's everything. Slug it out. Mox kind of whips a kick on a down, or MJF mixes a kick on a down, whatever. Mox pops up, hits a big lariat. Mox is selling his arm like it's dislocated. He tries like smashing it into the turnbuckle pad to get it to pop back into place. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. MJF spits in Mox's face. Again, I yell, COVID. The ref tells Mox about, what this means because he's got him set up for the paradigm shift. He's talking about, you can lose your title, the whole hoopity blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, MJF hits the heat seeker pile driver on Mox. He kicks out. MJF does an absolute fit, goes for a second one, gets hit with an air raid crash. He starts laying in some stiff shots, turns into a brawl, a flurry of headbutts, and then MJF pulls the ref in front of him, sticks his thumb in Mox's eye, but Mox recovers and applies a sleeper hold. As that sleeper hold is applied, MJF low blows Mox. As he pulls the ref in, Mox won't stay down. There was a very, very bad crossroads for a near fall. Then Wardlow finally does nothing, but he tosses the ring into the diamond ring into the ring. Mox hits the paradigm shift as the ref's back is turned, and that's how he picks up the win. Mox does the good old fashioned Yano shoulder shrug into the camera, as it goes on, I should say. I said it was an awesome match beside a couple of botches, but nothing in this world is perfect. MJF had a better match than I thought he would. The blood was good. The biting and the spitting was, as in the words of Michael Lorcan, borderline. The story was good. I honestly don't think we've seen the last of Mox and MJF, and I would not be surprised if we see it a lot sooner than we think. After the match, Mox is seen in the ring flipping off Lance Archer and Jake Roberts, who's sitting in the crowd. Mox says he's untouchable. You're going to have to kill him or drop a house on him. Then he spells out Mox on his chest with MJF's blood as the camera cuts out. I said, so, I will say this is not AEW's best show. It might have actually been their worst show. But I assure you, I had more fun watching this than I did Payback because I fell asleep. Yes, it went too long. Yes, there were some fuck-ups, but it was not so boring we turned it off. Instead, it was so interesting. It has you talking so much, it has blown up the internet, whether you hate it or you love it. I hope they start to build Jurassic Express because they're great. Sheeta looked unstoppable, and I'm curious who in the fuck she can go up against now. Hobbs needs to be needs to be on the main all the motherfucking time. I'm so excited for the rebirth of Kenny Omega into the cleaner. The Kenny Omega that set the wrestling world on fire. It's still a very good show, and I will give it one thumb up, believe it or not. Yes, one full thumb up. So, that being said, I'm going to get on out of here, guys. I know I've been slacking so bad with AEW NXT. I'm hoping to get caught up again this week. I really don't want to have to backtrack considering the fact, but if anything correlates, I will blend it together the best I can. So, before I get out of here, I want to drop all kinds of fun plugs. If you guys have not already checked out the brand new Retro Rewind episode 50 part 2, then you severely have something wrong with you. I'm just kidding. You should definitely check it out. We have the most specialist of guests on that show. I can't tell you who it is. I can't tell you. Legally, we cannot disclose who is the very special guest of Retro Rewind's episode 50 part 2. We cannot disclose it. But what we can tell you is it is an all WWF show as we review SummerSlam 1996 and that follow-up Raw. So, listen to it immediately, and I want you to guess who you feel. You know what? You're not going to have to guess because I believe I actually introduce him. So, just know a very special guest is there. Listen to it. Enjoy the conversation. Yes, that episode went a little long, but I assure you It'll be one of the funner episodes you've listened to all year long. That being said, make sure you're following us on all platforms of social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, twitch.tv/SMRPodNet as well. We're all over the goddamn place. We're doing as much as possible. Like I said, Retro dropped. This is dropping. Hoping to drop AEW NXT either Friday, Saturday. We're going to try to get it done early to ensure it getting done. If this becomes a problem or I can't get it done, you guys, I apologize. And maybe I'll change it up to watch one show and review it. Watch the other show and review it. Or, unfortunately, maybe I just drop them all together. But we'll figure that out as we go along. Right now, we're going to keep it trucking along, as y'all need to keep it trucking. You know, God bless those firefighters out there fighting all these blazes all up and down Cali. As a man close to these blazes, I appreciate all the hard work that these guys are doing. It's not easy shit. It's just not easy shit. Y'all see a fireman, thank the hell out of him. Thank them for your boy. Thank him for your boy. All right, boys and girls and men and women and children and crazy creatures of the dark, if you will, I guess, whatever. It's absolutely late and I'm exhausted. It's been a long day, but I had to get this out for you guys. I could not keep it waiting any longer. I hope you guys enjoyed my review. I did not rate the last match. I also gave that 3 3/4, the main event. My favorite match of the night was the Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express. Absolutely loved it. So, Wednesday Night Dynamite for those RWT group members. My man Harold will do the live stream like he do. So come kick it with us. Have a beer. Have some fun conversation. Max Wrestling drops each and every Thursday. Make sure you check out your boy on Max Wrestling, maxwrestling.weebly.com. The promo bowl is continuing. I have gotten past DC. I am on my way to Chris Maldonado, a man from my past, a man who knows how to go against your boy. He had the crippler to face, but that was a long time ago. So we'll see where it goes from there. I appreciate y'all listening. Really, 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 I do. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope you feel just as strongly about how bad the medical was as I do. And with that being said, we'll catch y'all around the bend. Peace out. Love y'all. Retros go back to normal starting Monday. Peace out.